Boys and girls. This is chapter 4, and we're going to split it up in two parts. This is part 1. This is called My Brother the Bird. We live near Central Park. On nice days, I like to play there after school. I'm allowed to walk over by myself as long as I'm going to be with friends. My brother doesn't want me hanging around the park alone. For one thing, Jimmy Fargo has been mugged 3 times, twice for his bicycle and once for his money, only he didn't have any to give the muggers. I've never been mugged, but sooner or later, I probably will be. My father's told me what to do. Give the muggers whatever they want and try not to get hit on the head. Sometimes after you're mugged, you get to go to police headquarters. You look at a bunch of pictures of crooks to see if you recognize the guys that mugged you. I think it would be neat to look at all those pictures. It's not that I want to get mugged, because that would be really scary. It's just that Jimmy Fargo's always talking about his visit to police headquarters. My father got mugged once in a subway by 2 girls and a guy. They took his wallet and his briefcase. He still travels around by subways, but my mother doesn't. She sticks to buses and taxis. Both my mother and my father are always warning me never to talk to strangers in the park because a lot of dope pushers hang around there. But taking dope is even dumber than smoking, so nobody's going to hook me. We live on the west side of the park. If I want to go to the zoo and the pony carts, I have to walk all the way through the east side. Sometimes my mother walks across the park with Fudge. He likes the animals a lot, especially the monkeys. He always likes the helium filled balloons, but as soon as my mother buys him one, he lets it go. I think he likes to see it float up in the sky. My mother says that's a waste of money and she's not going to buy him any more balloons until he promises not to let go. On Sundays, the park is closed to traffic and you can ride your bike all over without worrying about being run down by some crazy driver. Even Fudge can ride. He has a little blue toddle bike, a present from my father's client. And when he's riding, he makes motorcycle noises. Vroom, 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 he yells. In the fall, the leaves turn darker and drop off the trees. Sometimes there are big leaf piles on the ground. It's fun to jump around in them. I never saw bright red, yellow, and orange leaves until the day my father took us for a drive in the country. The reason the leaves don't turn bright colors in New York is the air pollution. And that's too bad, because yellow and orange and red leaves are really look neat. One nice sunny afternoon, I called for Jimmy Fargo, and we went to the park. Jimmy is the only kid on my block who's in my class at school, unless you count Sheila, and I don't. She lives in my building on the 10th floor. Henry, the elevator operator, is always making jokes about me and Sheila. He thinks we like each other. The truth is, I can't stand her. She's a real know it all. But I've discovered that most girls are. The worst thing about Sheila is the way she's always trying to touch me. And when she does, she yells, Peter's got the cooties! Peter's got the cooties! I don't believe in cooties anymore. When I was in second grade, I used to examine myself to see if I had them, but I never found any. By fourth grade, most kids give up on the cooties, but not Sheila. She's still going strong. So I have to keep a safe distance from her. My mother thinks Sheila's the greatest. She's so smart, my mother says, and someday she's going to be a real beauty. Now that's the funniest, because Sheila looks like the monkeys that Fudge is so crazy about. So maybe she'll look beautiful to some ape, but never to me. Me and Jimmy have this special group of rocks where we like to play when we're in the park. We play secret agent up there. Jimmy can imitate all kinds of foreign accents, probably because his father's a part time actor. When he's not acting, he teaches a class at City College. Today, when we got to our rocks, who should be perched up there but Sheila? She was pretending to read a book, but I think she was just waiting for me and Jimmy to find out what we do when we found her on our personal rocks. Hey, Sheila, I said, those are our rocks. Says who? She asked. Come on, Sheila, Jimmy said, climbing up. You know, me and Peter hang out there. Hang out here. Well, too bad for you, Sheila said. Oh, Sheila, I shouted, go and find yourself another rock. I like this one, she said, as if she owned the park. So why don't you two go find another rock? Just then, who should come tearing down the path but Fudge? My mother was right behind him, hollering, Fudgy, wait for mommy. But when Fudge gets going, he doesn't wait for anybody. He was after some pigeons. Birdie, here, Birdie, he called. That brother of mine loves birds, but he can't get it through his head that the birds aren't about to let him catch him. Then, hi, Mom, I said. My mother stopped running. Peter, am I glad to see you? I can't keep up with Fudge. Mrs. Hatcher, Mrs. Hatcher, Sheila called, scrambling down from her rock. I'll watch Fudge for you. I'll take very good care of him. Can I, Mrs. Hatcher? Oh, please. Sheila jumped up and down and begged some more. Jimmy gave me an elbow in the ribs. He thought that my mother would let Sheila watch Fudge, and then we'd be rid of her. We'd be free to play secret agent. But Jimmy didn't know that my mother would never trust Sheila with her dear little boy. Fudge, in the meantime, was screaming, Come back, birdies! Come back to Fudgy! Then my mother did a strange thing. She checked her watch and said, You know, I do have to run back to the apartment. I forgot to turn on the oven. Do you really think you can keep an eye on Fudge for just 10 minutes? Of course I can, Mrs. Hatcher, Sheila said. I know all about babysitting from my sister. Sheila's sister Libby is in 7th grade. Sheila's about as beautiful as Sheila. The only difference is she's bigger. Okay, so we'll stop it here for part 1. And here are the questions for chapter 4, part 1. Number 1, read the following sentence from the story. For one thing, Jimmy Fargo has been mugged 3 times for his bicycle and once for his money. What is a synonym for the underlined word? Number 2, who are Jimmy Fargo and Sheila? Who is Jimmy Fargo? Who is Sheila? Number 3, in Peter's opinion, why can't the leaves in New York City turn bright colors in the fall? And the last one, do you think Mrs. Hatcher will let Sheila watch over Fudge? Why or why not? Okay. Make sure you finish these up before we meet tomorrow at 9. And make sure you finish your assigned work, and it's under the assignments tab of the website. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow.